And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at a Fistful of Dinero, which I think just by that title and by the look of the box, you can tell this is a Western-themed game. Think along the lines of Bang, where I'm shooting at other players with cards and trying to blow everybody else up. This is a standoff where everyone's shooting at everyone else for no reason at all, apparently. Let me show you how to play. At the beginning of the game, you're going to have a certain number of chips that are in the middle of the table, depending on the number of players. The game is going to have several rounds. At the end of each round, you'll draw a damage card, you'll look at the light wound side of it, and that tells you how many chips to take out of the game. When all the chips are out of the game, whoever has the most chips at that point is the winner. And there are different cards that will give you chips, and whenever you kill someone, you'll steal one of their chips from them. Now, each round of the game, players are going to be attempting to kill each other, and that's another way to win the game is by killing everybody. But at the beginning of the game, you are going to get weapons cards. You're going to get 3 weapons cards. So you'll always get a Peacemaker, but you'll get 2 other weapons cards. There's Iron Stingers, Quicksilver, Frog Sticker, Winchester, Corkscrew, Derringer, Blunderbuss, Scattergun, Pepperbox, Colt Blood, Buttline, Flying Stars, Sawed-Off Shotgun, Duck's Foot, and Equalizers. So let's say I get these 3, and I say, I'll pick these 2, and I'll put them here. One is my main weapon, and one's my offhand weapon, which is -1 to hit. Whenever you can reveal these whenever you want, and when you do reveal that you have it, you'll put a token on to show how much ammunition you have, and as you spend ammunition, you'll move the token down, so you can only shoot as much ammunition as you have. One player is chosen to go first, and then players are going to be drawing a pile of cards, 6 cards from an action card deck, and they're going to be drafting those. There's a card here that lets you know which direction you draft in. So you look at your hand, you draw one, you keep one card, pass the rest on, and you keep doing that so everyone has drafted all the cards. At that point, players are going to take turns. When they draft the cards, instead of putting them in front of you, you're actually putting them here in these 3 action slots. And after everyone has done that, you'll start with the first action slot. The person will turn it up, and they'll do whatever that card says. Some of the cards have 2 different sides to them, so that when you play those cards, this one here can be rearm or aim. I can pick which one that it does when I play the card. I don't have to decide when I put it down. It's when I play it, I can do whatever it says. Now, some of the cards will go up here in this spot here, and you can usually tell that because they have a card symbol on them. So there's the King of Hearts, and that matters for some things. This one here is an aim. This one I just leave up there until I shoot a gun, or until I play a card with an aim symbol like this one here, and then all my cards up here go away. This one, for example, rearm, I can switch my main weapon with my offhand weapon, so I could do that. Here's a jam, you can stop somebody else from doing a fire. But we should talk about fire cards because they're the biggest part of the game. Here, whenever you fire at someone, you're trying to roll a 7 or higher. There might be other things involved in the game. The other person might be undercover, you might have aimed a few turns, but essentially what you're going to do is roll 2 dice and try to roll a 7 or higher. Double 1s is always a miss, double 6s is always a hit. And in this case, if I had rolled double 6s, I would have drawn 2 damage cards. Sometimes your weapon will have modifiers, and whenever you fire, of course, you use ammunition. If you do hit the other person, you look at the card that you're firing with. In this case, it's a light weapon, although it says if you roll 12, it's heavy. You draw a damage card and see how much damage they've taken. Here, it's a bullseye. It says resolve a heavy damage card. So I draw a heavy damage card. That's 3 wounds. It only takes 5 wounds to kill someone, so heavy damage can really hurt. Light wounds are usually 1, and sometimes they do other things, like this just grazes the person, although this one gives them a -1 to attack roll on your next fire action. The heavy ones are much worse than that, of course, 2 or 3 wounds, and sometimes they do worse things. If you take 5 wounds, you are dead and out of the game. And so players are going to be trying to avoid that. So they're playing all sorts of different action cards, and one of those cards is a cover card. In a 4-player game, you just put this down on the table and do whatever it says. This is after you receive damage, roll a d6. On a 1 to 3, discard to cover, but you place it towards somebody, and you're -1 to hit you. If you're playing with a 5 to 6 player, though, you'll place the cover in front of you, and this means in a 5-player game, the person who's to my immediate left is -2 to hit me. The person after them is -1. These two people, there's nothing. If I was playing a 6-player game, this player, and this player, it would be all -1 to hit me. There are other cards that you actually throw at your opponent. You actually throw them. Your arm can't go beyond your sheet, but it has to land on their sheet, and then it hits, and it will do something to that player. There's even one that's dynamite that players are passing around trying to get rid of it before it blows up. Or here's one where you can basically throw a card to do damage, but you can't do it if they have cover. You can add ammo to your weapons with some of the reload cards. Here I can quick play this card when I'm targeted with a fire card. And there's lots of different aim cards in the game that players will do. Or here I can do a fire with my offhand weapon. And here I can discard my cover and aim cards and just take a chip from the pot in the middle. And remember, having the chips, you're basically trying to run in the middle and grab these chips. Having the most of these is what wins you the game. And that's it. After the round's over, you will flip the direction you draft in. Players will draft 3 more cards. They will play those cards, and you keep going till one person is the sole survivor, or until you run out of chips in the middle, in which case whoever has the most chips is the winner. Now, I liked this game for several reasons, but before I get into why I liked it so much, I should mention that I am almost unique in my gaming group as to people who like this game. Everyone else seemed to hate it for various reasons. Some people didn't like the design of the cards, which I actually really like the design of the cards. I mean, they look a little busy at points, but I love the flavor on them. I love the artwork. I especially like the cover cards and how you rotate them is minus to you. Some people did not like the luck of the dice, and I certainly can understand that because it doesn't matter how much cover cards you have and other things, you can roll 3 and, well, you miss. And you can miss a lot in this game. And some people didn't like just the overall flow of play, but those people are just wrong. I liked the drafting. I'm a big fan of drafting in general, but I realize, I really do, that essentially other than that, throwing cards at people, rolling dice to shoot people, playing different cards, it's all silly luck fest style game. But I don't mind those games all the time, and there's certain people I can play those with. I can play them with a new group of gamers who like things like Munchkin and stuff. This is something that I like a little bit better than that because A, I like the theme, and B, I like some of the stuff like throwing a card or rolling dice, and just, yeah, it's probably come down to the theme. It probably is, because while there are some unique things, I do like the double-sided cards. I do like being able to, like this card here's a bounty. I can put a chip on this card, give it to someone else, and then everyone's trying to kill that person. I like how I can rotate the cards up and down. I think the artwork's fantastic and the theme comes out, but... And I like the damage cards, the light and heavy damage. They're basically 2 decks of cards in one. I think that's really neat. So... will you like this game? Should you get this game? That all depends on you. So for me, I like it because I love the Western theme. I don't think there's enough games about it. I don't mind the player elimination so much, even though player elimination is not great, because the game itself isn't that long. You can all gang up on someone and take them out of the game for no reason at all. That's a bit problematic. And yes, you can do everything right and the dice just don't go your way. Or reverse, the other person doesn't seem to do anything right and yet they roll 12 and you're dead. But I think the game is short enough and silly enough that that's not a problem. Yes, it could have been refined. Yes, it could have been better, but I did enjoy it anyway. Just draw. Dice Tower Judgment. Approved.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.